for me, there's no more tier 1, tier 2 cities anymore. It's about where the center is based on, of course, we also understand based on the skill sets. If you're looking at an IT skill set, you look at one or two cities in specific.
Right.
You look at an engineering division, you look at one or two cities like that. I think it's more of what skill set you get in which geography.
Hi everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Dexian Talks, GCC Series, Coimbatore, an initiative by Dexian India. We bring together leaders who are shaping up the future of global capability centers and enterprise transformation. Today, the guest who's going to join us is Mr. Nithyananth KG. He comes with over 2 decades of experience spanning over HR, global business services, shared services transformation, and GCC leadership across India and Mauritius. Nithyananth has played a pivotal role in building and scaling global service centers through a strong focus on people, process, and technology. Joining him will be Mr. Fredricks John, GCC Advisor, Dexian India.
Nithi, welcome to the show. We are so happy to have you here on Dexian Talks. Coimbatore GCC ecosystem couldn't have done better without you. So you are one of the important persons here in Coimbatore that we are honored to host during this show. Welcome.
Thank you, Fred. It's a privilege to be here for 2 reasons. One is if I could be identified as one of the reason for GCC's ecosystem in Coimbatore, which is not true, but I take it with pride. Thank you for that.
Humility.
And also the Dexian team for this wonderful job that you're doing. Of late, I got familiar with this Dexian Talks series, and it's been interesting. Such programs will always throw a lot of insights for a better learn and share, and for the upcoming professionals as well. Congratulations to the Dexian team.
Thank you, Nithi, and that's the exact same reason why we're doing this series. Because we want leaders like you to give us your insights so we can take it to the broader audience and help GCCs decide on setting up in India. And this series is focused on Coimbatore.
Absolutely.
So you've had the opportunity to build and lead businesses across geographies, especially the service centers. What made Coimbatore the right choice for establishing and scaling a GCC for you?
Interesting question. It's not me. Even before me coming into the Coimbatore geography, the Coimbatore's flag was already in the global environment.
Right.
Of course, not so familiar, but Coimbatore was a choice, one amongst the choice for those big companies for multiple reasons. You know, Fred, anytime if any company is trying to launch a project like this, definitely they have their assessments in multiple aspects of it, right? Primarily, in the earlier days, they was using a PESTLE model. They were talking about political stability, the economy, the talent pool available, the resource available, or the infrastructure availability and all the stuff, right? I think all came together nicely as a tier 2 city in those days, because primarily when Bangalore or Noida or Mumbai was maxing out, or Chennai was maxing out, the alternate best option was Coimbatore for its talents available, right?
Yeah.
Primarily, when you talk about Coimbatore, there's about on an average of 16 to 17,000 graduates out of school every year. Right. And also the infrastructure. Coimbatore is always known as Manchester of South India, because they had this entrepreneurial mindset, and the ecosystem about everybody supporting everybody was also one of the main reason that Coimbatore is successful in its GCC ecosystem.
Well said. Yes, Coimbatore has developed that kind of an ecosystem which is industry friendly and throws its arms wide open when people want to come and embrace that. So when global leadership evaluates a city like Coimbatore, what strengths stand out for you today compared to a decade ago?
For sure, the talent pool available and the infrastructure is available here. The risk is low here. Maybe infrastructure, I keep repeating infrastructure. Infrastructure means multiple things there. Here mainly if you talk about the space availability or easy to commute and also the connectivity to the leased lines and all those things. All those and also if you talk about the weather conditions, it's a beautiful weather here, and then no risk on even the weather conditions, right? So when you look at all those things, ideally initially about 10 years back they were looking at Coimbatore as a tier 2 city, and second option, plan B, for any centers that is to be established in the tier 1 cities. I think that game has changed now for all the reasons I called out. Now it's become one of the option 1 as well, the priority as well.
Yes, Coimbatore has become one of the major contenders right now. But still, what do you believe Coimbatore must do over the next 5 years to position itself among India's leading GCC ecosystems?
Let's finish the infrastructure first, then go to the other side of the this one, right? So none of us, including me, expected Coimbatore to evolve in such a short time that we all know about it. I think one of the main asks for all of us through the authorities, the governing authorities, is to help us invest more in the infrastructure, maybe expanding the airports and the on-road infrastructure and all the stuff, right? That's main thing. And also we need more, 1 or 2 more IT parks, as we say, right? So that's how good office facility in a global standards. So that's the key there. On the other side, though we have about 15 to 16,000 graduates come out of school every year, not everybody is getting placed in the discipline they graduate, right? Engineers and IT is the big say now. It's never been IT is the craving discipline for everybody. But what happens is there are a lot of opportunities where in terms of engineering, in other customer service, supply chain and other fields as well, which is not that well familiar amongst the students, right? I think one of the focus that for us to go to the universities and then have those awareness sessions of what employment opportunities those kids can have in the GCC environment. That's one thing. And also I clearly envy the Hyderabad government, and for one reason that they look at the future state of the skill sets available and they incorporate the same as a curriculum in the schools, right? They've been doing this for quite some time. I think if Tamil Nadu government can help us take that approach. And already we are running a program called, many of the programs called in the similar names called Campus to Corporate. But through our company, current company, what we do is we give a free guest lecture 1 hour every semester for all those kids, for them to enhance their employability skills. So we're trying to close the gap. On one hand we need resources, and one hand we need those talents to be developed. The other hand, even the institutions, they're looking forward for the placements, right? So we need to come together to make it happen, right?
So interesting that you brought out the industry academia connect as well, because that is one area where we still have a lot of work to do, and a couple of our speakers have pointed that out as well. Focusing on the employability of the talent pool that is available. For sure, the 16,000 students that graduate every year, they don't get absorbed immediately, is what other speakers shared with us as well. So, great point that you brought out.
Sure.
We are also seeing that the industry is now taking steps to make that happen, which is evident by your company doing something towards that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Are we witnessing a shift where GCCs are moving beyond metros and actively considering tier 2 cities as strategic growth center?
Absolutely. See, as such, GCC is evolving by itself, right? It's no more just a cookie cutter or just intake the process, transition, and deliver the work back, right? It's more than that. It's about, we are even talking about innovations, we are even talking about business partnering, right? Or when all those concepts are kicking in, and it's proven by default, right? Also moving up the value chain.
Right.
This is where in the Indian geography the GCCs are really doing well, right? So by default, when GCCs are evolving, the industry is evolving, concept of the tier 2 cities evolving also unavoidable. It's quite natural. It's part of the package, right?
Okay.
So we initially extended for a BCP plan. We went to tier 2 cities.
Right.
Now even those tier 2 cities which been looked upon as a BCP center is evolving much faster than what we expected and support the business, right? See, the skill sets are very important here. They have gained the experience with more than 2 decades of this industry being successful. Of course, it's been before that, but at least for 2 decades it's been successful. The knowledge, the IPs are huge there, right? So with that, a lot of programs, in-house programs, how do we disseminate the IPs to help the budding professionals to come up, right? And that's also keeping the tier 2 cities equally competitive. There's no more, for me, there's no more tier 1, tier 2 cities anymore. It's about where the center is based on, of course, we also understand based on the skill sets. If you're looking at an IT skill set, you look at 1 or 2 cities in specific.
Right.
You look at an engineering division, you look at 1 or 2 cities like that. I think it's more of what skill set you get in which geography and what kind of requirement you have to run a GCC. It all boils down that to select a location than a tier 1 and tier 2 cities of late.
Okay.
Right? And especially what happens is, I'm a classic example of a boomerang hire, right? When I graduated, of course, you can look at my looks and say, count my age, I think, but definitely when I graduated, I had to go to Bangalore. Those were the days when the BPOs boomed, right?
Yes.
So I've seen through the BPOs, through BPMs, to GSCs, to GBCs, now it's GCC, right? I'm even hearing through some of the forums that now it's going to be GVIC, right? The next evolution of GCC is going to be GVIC, Global Value and Innovation Center is what they're talking about. So when we have crossed a huge milestone, so that's where a boomerang hire is also important. When I was in Bangalore, almost more than 10 years away from my hometown, I wanted to come back to Coimbatore to be with my family, and Coimbatore is called a sticky wicket also, right?
Definitely.
People, once they align to your company's philosophies, the values and the culture, it's hard to move them out, right? They stick on, and as long as they've been challenged for the right reason, as long as they see the career progression, they stick on to a company. So when I looked at coming back to my hometown in 2000, early 2000, hardly we had any opportunities, right? I had to wait for about a year and a half to come back to Coimbatore to be with my family, right? A similar way, of late, the boomerang hire is also one of the main reasons Coimbatore is picking up. Because there are a lot of people out there with the families and in Chennai or Mumbai or Hyderabad, where name it any city, and we have a huge population that we can get them back. So that combination of an experienced professional, seasoned professional in the industry for a boomerang hire, and engage the budding professionals, and then continue to invest in them, in developing them, coaching, grooming, and mentoring them to evolve as a global talent. It's a great opportunity to be playing out of Coimbatore.
Okay, great. Great that you touched upon people who want to come back to their roots and be with their families.
Absolutely.
And such people stick on to companies if we provide the proper culture and the environment for them to thrive. Then we have a winning combination, I think.
Absolutely.
Right? So you've been part of setting up and scaling service centers across the globe, and you've done it from scratch and you've scaled very high. What are the foremost foundational elements that new GCC should not miss?
Like I said, get your requirements clearly drafted down. What's the function you're going to run in a center, right? But of course, Coimbatore, you have a combination of IT, engineering, right? And now with analytics and everything, we have the combination. So get that requirements right, and do that study in terms of if any company will be able to meet their resource requirement, the skill set requirement in that particular town, right? Okay. But of course, now after the pandemic, everybody can work from anywhere, right? That concept is kicking in. But even then, though I'm not a fan of it, I like people to come to office, but we have to respect how the industry is evolving. So that's one thing that you want to be particular about. What if your project will be able to accomplish the required skill sets required, right? The second thing is about the infrastructure, right? If you have to, anybody doesn't have a plan for 1,000 or 2,000 FTEs to start with immediately, right? They're going to start somewhere 10, 15, and then as and when they prove themselves, that's going to be evolve. So you'll have to have the right facility partner there, right? As and when you grew, say for example, the current company we grew from 0 to 500 in 6 years, right? The facility that we are in, they always supported us. We moved three floors in the last 6 years, and they were able to extend that support for us whenever we wanted additional space, right? So the infrastructure is one thing. The third thing is for sure about the technology, the ecosystem, the vendor setup, right? If you have your technology partner, if you have your lease line partner, if you have your your staffing partners, right? That's a great ecosystem in Coimbatore, right? Fred, one thing I can tell you proudly about how the center currently I'm working with evolved. We launched the program March 2020. The second week of going live, the first lockdown kicked in, right? Through the wave 1 and wave 2, we grew by 160 employees.
Wow.
Right. So that is how the Coimbatore ecosystem is. The never say never, no attitude. Always supporting each other to be productive is going to be a great support in Coimbatore, right? We have IT vendors who supported us, and some of the top senior executive leadership team, and including the CAOs in my company, they were surprised. Ever in their life, they have not seen renting a laptop, right? We did it in COVID. We had that support
that is true.
to do that, right? Right from your staffing partners, right? And they were flat out supporting us. They even deployed their resources in our center to help us understand our business requirement and get the right talent in. Right. I told you about the facility, right? So that's ecosystem is great in Coimbatore. If you can get connected with the right people, right?
Correct.
And then that's one thing. The third thing is, of course, every company, they pride in their values and their culture and everything, which is great, and every company is great in that.
Yeah.
If that kind of you need a man on the ground to uphold that throughout with their employees, keep them honest, keep it transparent, keep them engaging.
Yes.
That's the fourth aspect, I would say.
Okay.
These are the four aspects. Definitely, any project will be a successful one.
Okay. So in your journey, you've seen nano GCCs and how you're growing them to become large-scale GCCs.
Absolutely.
And that happens by engaging people. Right?
Absolutely.
So people become a very important part of the growth, right?
Absolutely. I keep telling Fred, we don't drive people through process, but my philosophy is we drive process through people. That's philosophy, right?
That's well said.
Right.
So when you do that, when you drive process through people, how do you balance growth, operational excellence, and you also mentioned culture during the expansion phase?
It's very dynamic and very demanding. I agree. I know why this question is coming up for
Yes.
sure. Right. The reason why I said it a while ago of keep your people honest, because when the center is evolving, definitely the existing people and opportunity for the organic growth for the existing people is also limited. Not you can promote everybody to every position internally, right?
That's true.
There's a requirement you go out in the market to hire the right people with right experience when your center is growing.
Okay.
But that is when you got to be transparent with your people, telling them, create the opportunity for internally. If that is not fallen through, then be honest, transparent with them and go out and then hire the right people. When you hire people laterally, the key thing is put them in on a leadership program for the cultural orientation, first thing.
Absolutely.
Right. So every company, again, I say they follow different leadership methodology.
Yes.
And they also do a lot of profiling, like Myers-Briggs and Thomas Profiling, Dale Carnegie's profiling system.
Yeah.
Where each company will be involved or aligned to a particular style, and that's when you'll have to use that style to ensure you have the right fitment. Right, and it's not about the hiring a leader, hiring somebody in a lateral because they're already a seasoned professional. They know to do their job well. It's not you need any support there, but the support that you need to give them, the hand holding you must do is only to get that orientation kick in to the organization's culture. Because people work in different domains, different companies with different mindset, right? I keep telling accountant doesn't think like an engineer, and engineer doesn't think like a legal person, right? So that's why with all these mindsets coming together, how do we keep them together is one of the great things, right? So people continue to invest in them for their organic growth and all the stuff. The other aspect I would say is always with this ever-changing, ever-challenging technology world, right? Investing in your people on the transformation skills is even more critical, right? A simple example I would say, and there are a lot of companies out there, they have automated, starts with finance, and they start with what you call the invoice automation, AP invoice process automation, right? What will those invoice processing clerks will do when the process is getting automated, right? So getting them oriented to a transformation skills based on their willingness, based on their skill sets, move them into AR, move them into GL, invest in them to upskill them, right? Help them pick up the transformation skills, being transparent with them. But you need to bring in efficiency. You need to hit your numbers for sure, right? It's not easy, but on the same note, how do we engage them to continue to move forward? If an employee is comfortable walking into the office, they jump the right side of the bed every day, and they're happy to come to office, That's your job as a leader.
Right.
Rest can happen automatically.
Wow, that's the passion showing through when you talk about people. But this is not the only time you've been talking about people. Throughout your life, I've seen that you often speak about people, process, and technology all interwoven together. Why does people leadership remain the most critical component of GCC evolution?
It's very simple. We are in people business. We are not selling a product. We are selling service.
Right.
And that service is delivered by our own people, right?
Yeah.
So people are our assets, right? Continue to invest in your assets and then develop them, and all the other aspects of your operational excellence, the governance, all will automatically fall in place.
Awesome.
Right? When the center is evolving, the conceptually the governance is the same, but you may need additional controls in place for a good governance. So when you have the right people in to understand the rationale behind the business requirement, and then they will do wonders for you.
Right.
You're trying to help them to do things for you the way you want, right?
Correct. So you take care of your people and they will take care of your business.
Yeah, rightly said, Fred. My famous statement is, even in my town halls, I tell everybody, you take care of the business and we take care of you.
Okay.
That's how I tell them, right? So,
right. So the leadership plays a very important role, because this kind of a culture needs a lot of evolution, and patience, as you mentioned rightly earlier. So what is the role of leadership, or how has the role evolved in GCCs? Because they've become more strategic and business focused of late, not looking at people, right? Or as you said, product focused. So what do they need to do?
the focus on strategic as a leader must be there, and that's a must, right? You must know what's coming your way, how well you need to even reprogram your annual objectives or 2 years, 3 years roadmap. That's a must, right?
Okay.
That doesn't go away as leader. And also, in terms of setting the right objectives for your people is also a must. Those legacy approach stays as well, but slightly in a different note now, Fred. Now it's all about understanding the people, understanding the skill set, and helping them to map to the right program or the project.
Okay.
Right, based on their skill will metrics. That's going to take you a long way down the road. Right.
Okay.
Servant leadership approach.
Okay.
Right. And
Yeah.
especially with, I would say, this decade and next decade is the toughest one for everybody, for an employer and an employee. The reason is we have 5 generations working together. This decade and next decade.
Correct.
If not this another 5-10 years, after 10 years I would retire. So that 2 generations will move out, right? So we're in the cusp of whatever we speak, whatever the programs that we initiate, we're in crossroads. It might suit one, it may not suit another one, right? So this kind of a servant leadership approach, individual focus. Previously it was all program focused or project focused. Now it's more about, that focus is still there, but how well you're connected with your resource, your asset, I would say, and then helping them map their future aspirations, the skill sets, and the willingness to be a part of a particular project. They're going to do fantastic. So that's the what you call game that every leader must play moving forward.
Correct.
Know your people, know your processes. Another mantra I keep telling. So that's another game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting that you talked about the crossroads where there are 5 generations working together, and once 2 generations move on, then what does the other 3 do? So in those terms, what do you think today's student should aspire to learn if they were to be able to join global organizations?
Fred, trust me, they're very clear.
Okay.
Gone all those days where our parents were worried about what we are going to do.
Okay.
But here, the young kids are budding professionals are very clear. They know what they want in their life. They know what kind of a job they need to pick up in which company. And they also know, interestingly, where to stop. But you and I, we don't know to say no or where to stop. But they know exactly where to stop, right? So the thing is, by the budding professionals picking up their professional or career aspirations based on the company, the project and everything, which is fantastic. But the little worry that we have is they also have their limitations. They know where to stop, right? As leaders, again, if you want to leave a legacy behind, continue to invest in them further on their leadership skills to grow global.
Okay.
And then also giving back to the community.
Okay.
I think those are the two loose ends I would see, based on my little 2 cents, the experience I have. That is where we need to invest. Already we have launched a program of global women leaders in the company, and also we are looking at talent expat, right? So they say about closely about 30 to 40% of the global leadership team across the globe will retire in 5 years, because surely a future talent gap out there.
Absolutely.
We must invest in them.
Yeah.
So when you continue to invest in them, technically, skill set wise, they're strong, but the soft side of that of course it comes over a period of time based on experience, and also we as leaders already show them the path of how to touch the finish line. Will do wonders.
Okay. It's really interesting to hear you talk about giving back to the community.
Absolutely.
In terms of leadership, in terms of bringing about more women leaders. And it's also shocking to hear that so many people would retire in the next 5 years, and we're creating a gap there. And that is where young people need to step up and stand up for the occasion, I guess.
Absolutely.
Right. So, moving to the business side of things, how can GCCs contribute to an enterprise-wide innovation strategy?
Fred, that's happening as we speak. This is where the business partnering model kicks in. As we know, the value GCCs bring already. We don't stop just to intake the process and get the output, but it's all about understanding the business, partnering with them. And we have a habit of even going to our stakeholders once or twice a year at the beginning of the year to see what's their business objective and how can we partner with you to help you meet your business goals.
Okay.
Right? Even in terms of innovation, may it be now analytics is huge, automation is huge, so we have some skill sets to help them out to bring in efficiency. Also in terms of marketing, in terms of the engineering aspects of it. So we have huge potential there. The thing is, we must continue to partner with the business, right? It's not just come and deliver, but rather than partnering with the business to understand. Even I go to the extent of setting up a KPI for an individual resource in your center. The KPI, what that resource delivers, is just not because you will have to monitor the efficiency, right? But every KPI that has been delivered by that resource must ensure the recipient of the service as a stakeholder, it must help that person to meet their business objective. That is how KPIs are defined. So moving up the value chain, innovation is always, they're open for it. First is the resilience and the trust, right? With all the, technology, it's great, but it's scary at times. We all know that. But how do we put the right controls in to ensure how those IPs are retained? That's more important, right? I keep talking about co-creation.
Right.
I keep talking about co-creation. Co-creation is great, where we partner as a business partner. We understand the business requirement, collaborate, and complement each other's skill set to accomplish a business objective. That's one thing. But the big question comes there is, who owns the IP?
Yeah, correct.
Right? Or who, if the right person is being awarded with the credit, right? So those are the questions. If it's answered transparently with trust and honesty, I think that's a no-brainer.
Awesome. So I like how you want to attach value of KPIs to the outcome of the business partner or the stakeholder. You also emphasize that instead of delivering to requirements, you own the outcomes, right? And my next question was something that you touched upon as well, co-creation.
Co-creation.
Right? So you recently spoke about moving from a vendor-client relationship toward a co-creation model, right? What does successful co-creation actually look like?
Fred, that's a good question. That was a spin question for me, right? I was more talking about a business partnering and a co-creation, right? GCs are no longer a third party now. No. It's an extended arm of a business, right? Yes. But co-creation also applies to your suppliers and vendors out in the market, right? You may launch a big project and you need some heavyweight champions initially for an IT project, for example. You need an architect, all those heavyweight champions to put the framework together, put the program together, blueprint together, and everything, right? But after 3 months or 6 months, when the project is going live, you're only talking about some developers and the implementation partners, and then AMS, right? You're going to maintain this one. But initially, when the co-creation partnership is great, and many of my colleagues in the industry, they also struggle a bit to get the right vendors for the initial stage, right? Yeah. When the co-creation partnership is great, you have the right partner, I think those initial heavyweight lifting partnerships also kick off well. Right? Okay. It's great because some of those third-party vendors now, they're struggling to prove themselves to the big players, right? Absolutely. And then sometimes they even pull back without the projects are complete, right? There are a lot of things happening out there. Yeah. That's all because the partnership of co-creation and who owns the IP. If that is clear and that trust kicks in, I think a lot more success rates can be seen in the market, right? Okay. Yeah, trust is a big thing. Absolutely. So no matter what we talk about product or IP, everything relies on trust and boils down to trust. Absolutely. May it be leadership, Fred, may it be business partnering, may it be vendor management, anything you talk about, trust me, the human values will never fade away. Right? The more we exhibit the human values for the right reasons, I think the ecosystem will continue to evolve than what we imagine now. So, even when it matters a lot of business outcomes, you're still looking at people as people and the trust you place in them. So, coming back to Coimbatore, if you were to advise a global enterprise to consider Coimbatore today, what would your pitch be like? Absolutely, for all the reasons that we said now, for the beautiful facility and infrastructure available now. Right. As we speak, I have the stats now. In another 6 to 8 months, there's going to be another almost about 1.5 million square foot of workspace is going to be available for business. Wow. Right? Okay. So that's in Coimbatore ecosystem. That's a lot. You look at the infrastructure of the roads, connectivities and everything, that's great. Yeah. And you look at the airport expansion program, that's also kicking up. Yeah. Right. So all the infrastructure development programs are kicked in already. With the great schools and the universities we have around, I think that 16,000 will go up to 21,000 graduates moving forward. And I don't see any a drawback or any concerns about why not those global organizations shouldn't step into Coimbatore. The only challenge now we have is the international connectivity with the airports. But other than that, even that's going to fall in place. I think we don't see any drawbacks that's going to stop us, right? We will continue to grow.
So, if we were to look back at this conversation, maybe 5 years down the line, what would have changed in this ecosystem?
In the sense, Fred, can you help me understand that a bit?
You had some things that the government had to do. We want the airport to be expanded, and that's been an ask for Coimbatore for a very long time. And you just mentioned that so many million square feet are going to be available. So do you think all of this will come to fruition in the next 5 years, and we will be seen as a very successful GCC destination?
Absolutely. I see a promising future for all of us in the Coimbatore ecosystem.
Okay.
Right? Maybe talent, infrastructure, technology, everything put together, whatever it requires to run a center like this. Definitely, we are equipping ourselves.
Okay.
In the next 5 years, it's going to be great for sure.
Awesome. Great talking to you, Nithi. I'm so happy that we set this up with you, because we had a lot of insights from you today, especially when you talk about people in this ever-growing GCC landscape. You still focus on people, although there is a product, there's an IP, and all of the things that go along with that. The most important thing for you is trust. So for being here and taking the time out to be part of Dexian Talks, we have a small hamper to share with you.
Thank you so much, Fred. And thank you for having me here. And congratulations to the Dexian team. I wish these episodes continue so we all can continue to learn from this talks as well.
Yes.
Thank you. All the best.
So
Cheers. Yeah. Bye. Thank you, team.
The conversation with Mr. Nithyananth today was very insightful, and he shared a lot of his experiences today. His journey was all about building and scaling up the global service centers, nurturing the talent, and championing the evolution of GCCs that offers valuable lessons to all the business leaders out there, the professionals, and all the organizations that are alike. I will see you in another episode of Dexian Talks, GCC Series Coimbatore, with a very interesting guest. Till then, thank you so much for watching us.
We are Dexian, in the business for good.